Hello, I'm Xannah Monique, and this is the LNC podcast. I am the creator of Loc'd Chronic, and if you see me looking down, it's because I have to refer to some notes, but I really want to talk about something that I found rather interesting after watching Petal Farmer's TED Talk. Editing Xannah here. Why did I keep saying Petal Farmer? Her name is not Petal Farmer. Her name is Petal Farmer. I don't know where my brain went, but throughout this entire thing, I've been saying Petal Farmer. Oh dear, I am so sorry. Petal, if you ever see this, I am so sorry. If you don't know who Petal Farmer is, are you living under a rock? She is an amazing person. I don't really want to I don't want to take away her light because I want you to discover for yourself. But she had a TED Talk about cancer ghosting. And first of all, I had never heard about it before. But after watching it, I then started thinking about some other things that I'm going to get into in a moment. But before I get into that, this podcast is for education and reflection only. I share my personal experiences of chronic illness, mental health, and hidden disabilities. I am not a medical or mental health professional. Please seek advice from your doctor or a qualified professional for any concerns about your own health. So if any of this triggers you at all as well, please feel free to move over to one of my other videos. But yeah, please take care of yourself and let's get to it. So I had watched Petal Farmer's TED Talk the other day, and as I said, it was the one about cancer ghosting. And I can tell you that one, first of all, the talk was amazing and it really hit me in the gut. She had shared how after her acute lymphoblastic leukemia or ALL diagnosis, many people in her life slowly distanced themselves or disappeared. She personally called this phenomenon cancer ghosting, when friends or family cut off contact or reduce it once someone is diagnosed with cancer, leaving the person feeling alone, isolated, or rejected. As I watched that video, I had a moment where I said, wait, hold on a minute. My mother went through that when she started truly showing symptoms and signs of dementia. And come to think of it, you know what? I had gone through that as well. But not with cancer, with my own chronic illness, my own disabilities, my own mental health struggles. And then it hit me. Is dementia ghosting really a thing? Is it something that people talk about? And then I said, is chronic illness, mental health, or hidden disabilities ghosting an actual thing? Before I answer those questions, I really want to use Petal's talk as a bit of a case study to show the basis of where my thoughts came from for dementia ghosting and chronic illness ghosting. Some points that she had mentioned are abrupt changes in relationships, silence and avoidance, loneliness and erasure, power of small connection, rejecting toxic positivity. She had rejected the overly heroic narrative of how you have to be a warrior, and instead she frames her experience as something raw and uncomfortable and human, which is, to be honest, refreshing. She also highlighted the power of simple gestures like a text, a call, just checking in, and how some small acts of consistency can help someone not feel erased or invisible. And by the way, I'm going to put the link to her video in the description because I can't put clips on here because I don't want TED Talk to come for me. It is a really good watch. Please go and watch it, and please go and follow her because she's amazing. So now I've been going to get into how each of those points relate to dementia ghosting and chronic illness ghosting. When dementia enters a family, the first thing to fade isn't memory, it's actually company. You start noticing that visits drop off, friendships drop off, you don't get as many phone calls, people don't want to speak to the people that are being affected, things of that nature. So the same people who used to come by every week or would call, or you had some sort of working relationship with, or church relationship with, or any social relationship with, all of a sudden they're kind of too busy, or you just don't hear from them at all. And it is subtle at first, like, oh, I've been meaning to pop around, but tell your mom I said hi. I hear that one a lot, and my daughter hears that one a lot. But as the months go by, nobody pops around and nobody really says hi. And one thing I've had to learn after being really annoyed about that, and I think in a way possibly my daughter sort of gets it as well, but she's younger than me, obviously, and she has more ire when it comes to these things because she feels really disappointed on behalf of her grandmother, rightfully so. But these people are not necessarily being cruel. I think they're just scared. They're scared of what they may see, and they're scared of what to say. And they're scared that the person who they once knew isn't quite there anymore, even though they are, but just in a different way. And that is what dementia ghosting is. It is when people grieve you, when you are still active and around and you're still breathing. You haven't really gone anywhere yet, but they kind of grieve the person that you once were, even though you really can't do anything about it. And in the world of chronic illness now and hidden disabilities, it's the same goals, but in a slightly different way. People fade out when you cannot keep up. I've definitely seen that. And they stop inviting you out because you just may cancel. And they say things like, you're always so tired, or, but you don't look sick. And then one day you realize that it's not that they stopped loving you, but then again, possibly it's that too, because is that really true love? They just stopped showing up for your version of life. And I figure that if someone truly, truly, truly means something to you, they would actually say something about it. That's what I'm thinking. But hey, mental health now adds another layer on top of that. And when you're battling depression, anxiety, or burnout, the silence around you can be deafening. I have seen that. People that I thought would be there for me and that I wanted to be there for them, I don't see them anymore. And I don't even bother trying to reach out, because you realize that things just wind down because they probably just can't handle it. It's not necessarily out of malice, but it's because our bandwidth is gone. The world feels heavy, and showing up takes the energy that we just do not have. And that is sad. And in all of this, you get the I'm scared, I don't know what to say, I don't know how to reach out, but you aren't the same that you used to be. But or they could be protecting themselves from burnout and all that, which is quite understandable. But sometimes I do wonder about the person that is actively going through the thing and needing the company. What about us? What about us? And the unfortunate thing is that at some point in time in life, these same people who are actively doing that, whether or not they're conscious of it, it may happen to some of them. Then what? Let's be real, right? People ghost in these moments because the illnesses force them to confront their own mortality and their fear. They have a fear of not being around anymore. They have a fear of weakness, the fear of change. They have a fear of not knowing what to say and being awkward. Editing Xannah here again. Petal went on to talk about times where her friends kind of alienated her when she thought that it would be okay to even sit with them. They would ask her for things. They would text her, and when she thought that they were reaching out, genuinely, they were asking for something. Things like that, which is really sad. My mum at the beginning of her dementia would have felt that, because I remember the times that she wanted to reach out to this person and that's not hearing from family and all of that. And then eventually her family, myself and my kids, felt that for her and are still feeling that for her. And I am feeling that for myself, for my own circumstances. That line is universal. Because when any long-term condition enters the arena, it disrupts people's illusion of control. They don't want to face it, so they vanish. Politely, quietly, like fading background music. Seriously, watch it. They don't make no big hullabaloo or say anything or say that, but they can't deal with it. You just don't hear from them anymore. And it's sad, but it's a thing. I'll be honest, right? I personally have done ghosting myself. I think everybody has gone through some version of this or have done some version of this. But mine is not from a fear of others. It's mainly from overwhelm. And being neurodivergent, my brain sometimes literally short circuits under the emotional weight. And when too much is going on, health, pain, appointments, overstimulation, etc., the instinct is not to reach out at all. It is to shut down, go in my corner, go in my bed, say nothing. So yeah, I have definitely gone quiet on people, and it's not because I don't care, but it's because of my survival mode and needing to protect myself and need to rejuvenate. And it doesn't really leave much room for small talk, and I'm not great at that anyway. It's very awkward for me, even though I may mask that fantastically. And that in itself is exhausting and then makes me feel as if I would but just back out. So if you are listening to this and you've gone through this, you've done this yourself, please have grace on yourself. Sometimes silence is self-preservation and not abandonment, okay? So dementia ghosting, chronic illness ghosting, mental health ghosting, they're all the same pattern. At the root of it is discomfort with difference, discomfort with change, discomfort with the unknown. Society celebrates recovery stories, not ongoing realities like this one. We are praised when we fight, but we get ignored when we're just trying to survive and live on. We're seen as inspiring when we bounce back, but no one talks about when we don't. Actually, it's pretty inconvenient when we don't. Some people drift away telling themselves they're just giving us a little space, when really they're avoiding us altogether and avoiding the discomfort and avoiding the awkwardness. The ones left behind, we grieve the living. We grieve that support. Okay, all right. Now, I do not want to end on a dark note because we're pretty sad and grim. It is not just all about the pain. It's just about having some clarity about this, about something that we don't really talk about. If you have been ghosted, right, here's what I've learned. I have a few points. Name it. Say that it hurts, because silence thrives in shame. Naming it gets rid of the shame. The more you name it, the more the shame dissipates. Educate gently though, all right? Gently is the operative word. Sometimes people genuinely really don't understand what's going on at all. A simple, but I still need you though, just probably a little differently, can actually go a long way. And just wait to accept if the person is going to really listen and pay attention or not. Protect your peace. If someone repeatedly disappears when you're low, stop waiting on them. That's where accepting if they're around or not comes in. You actually deserve consistency, not when it's convenient for them, right? Because illnesses don't work like that. Find your own community, whether you are online or local, in person, whatever. There are people who understand your rhythm. They may be hard to find, but there are people out there who do. Your tribe is important. It's real. Tell yourself that. Forgive strategically. Strategically being the operative word. Forgiveness doesn't mean re-entry. It doesn't mean that you're just going into that again to just feel bad again and feel let down when someone isn't there for you again. It just means that you have released that bitterness, because when you don't forgive, it's you that's affected, not necessarily the person. It can affect your health. So when you let that bitterness go, it can actually help your health. Don't let it live rent-free in your chest. And listen to me, if you're the one who has done the ghosting, I implore you to start small. First, acknowledge it. Acknowledge it. Really search yourself. Have I really been ghosting people that may possibly need me? Send a message. Just check in. You don't necessarily have to call or anything, but just send a long message. Say, I'm still thinking of you. Something like that. And you know what is so amazing? Admitting that you don't know what to say can actually help. Makes a person feel a little better. It is never too late to show up, even if it is awkward. Awkward love, compassion, and care is still love, compassion, and care.
Kettles
Talk reminded me that ghosting isn't really about the disease, It is about connection under pressure. That. And maybe the real lesson is this. Illness doesn't just test the body. It literally, roughly, seriously tests relationships. But in that test, you actually find your actual tribe, your people. The ones who will stay, the ones who will listen, the ones who see you, not as a diagnosis, but as a whole human being who has stories, laughter, faith, a journey, and worth. So to any of you out here living with dementia, chronic illnesses, hidden disabilities, mental health circumstances, you are not invisible. You are still here. I am still here. And you are worthy of love that stays. Telling myself that too. So if you appreciated all of this, let me know in the comment section below and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button and do all the things that you know that you got to do in order to share that we try to unmask and try to learn more about our chronic illnesses today. I am Xannah, and I implore you to take care of oneself first. Do not chase ghosts that were never meant to stay.